In the beginning, most relationships seem great. I like almost everything about you, and you like almost everything about me. But with time, something happens. I stop liking you, or worse, I may even start hating you. Now, why does this happen? Of course, one reason is familiarity breeds contempt. But there are other reasons that are connected with our psyche.
What we know about the brain is that you don't have a single self. You have three selves. First, you have your neocortex or your new brain, and that's the rational self. Now, if I take my model here, this is the neocortex. It's the outside, the wrinkly, pinky part of the brain. But then deeper inside, you have another self, which is your emotional self, which tends to be located here in what's called the middle brain. But deep down, further below in the brain, is your reptilian brain, and that's your instinctual self.
Even according to Bhagavad Gita, our psyche consists of three selves: Buddhi, Man and Ahankar. Buddhi or intelligence is our rational self. Man or mind is our emotional self. And Ahankar or ego is our instinctual self.
The Buddhi, Man and Ahankar are together called the Sukshma Sharir or subtle body. So the soul, the real me, is covered by the Sukshma Sharir or subtle body that cannot be seen or touched, and Sthula Sharir or the gross physical body that we can see and touch.
The Ahankar or ego, its job is to give the soul different identities. For example, my ego tells me that I am a monk. So, my instinctive behavior is like that of a monk. If I come across something spiritual on the internet, I am instinctively drawn to click that link. That's why my ego or my Ahankar is my instinctual self. The ego also tends to make us self-centered.
And the reptilian brain is self-centered. It's all about me, me, me.
When the ego is materially influenced, it has a natural tendency to assume a boss-like identity. I am the boss, I am the greatest. Or the ego says, I deserve all respect and honor. So if this is what is driving us, if this is what is driving the ego, at that time, suppose an educated man comes to you. He has a degree from the Harvard University and he has 30 years of experience in the corporate world. And he comes along and he compliments you for being a very thoughtful and an intelligent person. What then happens inside you is this. The boss, who is the ego, is very happy. What does the ego say? What does the boss, how does the boss react? My estimation of myself being the greatest, or I deserve all respect, this is confirmed by this man.
The middle brain covers the reptilian brain as if protecting it. Even functionally, your emotional self or man always protects and supports your instinctive self, the Ahankar.
And then the mind acts as a dutiful servant and he immediately obeys ego. He is the bodyguard of the ego. Now this servant mind is very rich in his feelings, but it doesn't behave rationally. He does only two things. The mind does only two things: accept or reject. So when the ego is satisfied because of the compliment of this Harvard graduate, this is immediately noticed by the mind, who is the security guard, who is very devoted. And then the mind straight away accepts this person as a friend.
And the neocortex covers the middle brain as if supporting it, and functionally your rational self or buddhi or intelligence backs your emotional self with logic and reasoning.
When the mind does that, then intelligence comes into action. Intelligence acts swiftly. Intelligence provides plans, arguments, logical reasoning to confirm what the mind has accepted or rejected. Like in this case, when the mind is accepted, the intelligence immediately declares about your new friend. Oh, this got a degree from Harvard, he has 35 years of experience. Naturally, he is right. He knows what he is saying. He is definitely good, and I am sure he is a lovable person.
Now your man or your mind and your buddhi or your intelligence always take sides with your ahankar or the ego. So in any relationship, as soon as the ego is hurt, you automatically find all emotional and rational reasons to justify a breakup.
One day you discover that this friend from the Harvard thinks you are a smart aleck, or worse, a phony. What happens then? There's a whole world inside of you, parallel to the outside realm, something like the famed wizard world of Harry Potter. And there are laws and people and even mafia in there. So the boss of this syndicate, the ego, he is now wild. He is angry because he's been criticized. He's been attacked. And the servant, Mr. Mind, jumps to protect the master by instantly rejecting the attacker and dismissing his scathing remarks. But mind needs help to protect his master. And he draws strength from his dutiful partner, Mr. Intelligence. And the intelligence quickly reasons, Harvard makes you proud. 3 decades of experience in Harvard? Oh, no wonder he is arrogant. He is senile. He should have retired long ago.
Now one approach to solving this ego problem that destroys relationship is to strengthen our intelligence so that it doesn't follow the whims of the mind and the ego. Scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita guide our intelligence by giving us an in-depth holistic perspective of ourselves and the world, so that the decisions we take in life and in our relationships are objective and not corrupted by our selfish ego.
एवं बुद्धे परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्.
Another approach to the solution is to work on spiritualizing the ego.
Our real ego is the spiritual ego. The spiritual ego as a servant-like identity. And you can know it's the real ego that's ruling your private world when the inner decree is, I want to serve. I want to serve God. I want to serve all living entities. I am grateful. I love, not exploit. I spread goodness. I give, not grab. I love, not hate.
When egos are spiritualized, the relationship is no longer about me. It's no longer about you either. It's about us. It's about how we can serve each other, how we can serve God together, and how we can be of service to all living entities. I'll give you an example. If we throw 2 stones in a pond, if they're thrown at different spots, the ripples that are formed will have different centers. And so as they expand, it is only a matter of time before they will collide. But if the stones are thrown at a common center, the ripples will expand harmoniously. So to have a common center of seva or selfless service far from our individual egos, that's the secret to a lasting relationship.
To come out of the cradle where everything is taking and taking and taking, and growing into that mature state where we understand and appreciate the joy of giving, of loving. That is real progress. That is where we can really connect with God, with each other, and actually make the world something beautiful.